Frozen Tundra Football League.
Hey man, what's up? Yeah, I'm just getting ready to film the show. Wait. You're coming here. When? In the next week? In the next week or so? Next week? That could be just fine. I'll calm down. So you just, yeah, I'll be ready. I mean, whenever you're gonna stop by. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, and I mean, I've been waiting for this. It's like I've been waiting to be in the Fantasy Bowl for 18 years now, and finally, oh my gosh, finally, thanks to you, I am. Oh God, I just, yeah, I saw. All right, well, okay, well, I guess I'll be ready. We'll see you soon. Peace out. Coming here. He's coming here. Well, welcome back to all my friends and fellow FTFLers and anyone who may have accidentally found us on the deep dive wormhole exploration on the YouTubes. You have tripped upon it. That's right. The longest running weekly episodic fantasy football update show. This is the FTFL Weekly Update, and I am not only the host, Brett Sieber, but I am the owner of the Fantasy Bowl Bound Hulkamaniacs. Ha! More on that, though, definitely in a bit. Again, welcome to the show. It is Fantasy Bowl week. We are going to get to the semifinal games and a whole lot more. But first, we're going to start off with some fan mail. Now, I love it when I get the fan mail. I love when fans call in, people drop by. That's one of my favorite parts about sports and fantasy football is that back and forth camaraderie. All right, I digress. It says, Dear Brett, huge fan of your show and congrats on 100 episodes. Thanks, buddy. Since championship week is coming up, I wanted to get your take on the greatest championship games in FTFL history. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I am a bit partial with the 03 championship, but whether or not that's the greatest, we'll find out. I know my favorite is the 2008 championship game with the Karate Explosion. Now, pause for a second. I will say this. That team name, the Karate Explosion, probably my favorite team name in all of FTFL history. You can see I was smiling just when I said it because it's that funny. All right, unpause. Going 11-1-1 for the greatest season of all time and winning arguably the greatest championship of all time. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Sincerely, Anton Schwartz. Now, Anton, I appreciate you taking time to email me. As far as the 2008 being the greatest one. Now, yes, season 11-1-1 is tough to argue. That is the best winning percentage season in FTFL history. As far as the championship game, now, the Karate Explosion in that game beat Team Linkowitz 75-57. Now, that is not the last time Linkowitz was in the Fantasy Bowl. I believe in 2014, he was back in the Fantasy Bowl. So I was the one with the longest streak of missing Fantasy Bowls, not Linkowitz. Now that is gone. I don't know. We'd have to figure that out. But again, I'm digressing. As far as games that probably were better championship games, in 2015, the Radioactive Monkeys beat Team Bazinga in a 2-point nail-biter in a game that saw a combined 112 points, 57-55. And in 2018, a much higher scoring affair, yet a 3-point differential, 96 for the king of the FTFL. Now, that wasn't me. I know that's confusing. That was a team that was fraudulently using my own created title, took on Ryan Diesem, the quitting Ryan Diesem, mind you, and his awful gross, nauseating, stomach-turning, vomit-inducing, decrepit titties and balls. 96 for the North, 93 for Ryan. That was a close one. Both of those games probably better. I mean, the Fantasy Bowl is a crapshoot, as is most of fantasy football. I've been telling you that here for years. Again, thanks for the fan mail. And yes, it is Fantasy Bowl week. The Fantasy Bowl is set. It will be Make Cramerica Great Again. Sid, who made that declaration at the end of last season that things were going to change, taking on the Hulkamaniacs, who I made the declaration beginning of this season that things were going to be different. Now, in the process of both of us winning our semifinal games, we became only the 16th and 17th teams in league history to hit the 10-win mark. That is an accomplishment unto itself. Also, on the other side of the bracket, the Toilet Bowl for 9th place ended in a tie. Of course it ended in a tie. And lastly, I'm going to spend some time tonight breaking down the top Diesem nominations of the year. But I can't wait any longer. Let's get into the games. First up, yours truly, the Hulkamaniacs at 9-5, coming in, taking on his brother for the first time ever in FTFL playoff history, the Mixin' Cocktails at 9-6. Now, I took a massive lead into Sunday night with Alvin Kamara. I had a 44-point lead with Alvin Kamara on my side against Andy's Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and the Cowboys straight up whooped that ass. Thankfully, they got so far ahead, the plug was pulled. I ended up with the victory, 89-78. For me, it was not one, not two, but three Damian Harris touchdowns that led the way, 24 points with him, 22 points from a man who's playing with a broken freaking toe. That's right, your boy, Aaron Rodgers. Woo! And then DK, who has been completely miserable. Let me recap just how miserable. In weeks 1 through 8, DK Metcalf had a total of 104 points. That's more than 10 a week, using my quick Invergrove Heights math. The last 7 games, only 34.5 points. And that includes the 13 he had this week. Boy, oh boy, got him when I needed him. And then Greg Joseph for the Vikings got me 12 points. Keenan Allen 4, he was usually averaging 9+. Alvin Kamara 3, usually averaging 11+. So I was able to overcome that and Hunter Henry's half point. If you're Andy, again, it was all about Dak Prescott, 30 points. Deebo Samuel, one of the scariest players in all the NFL, 16.5 points to Ram defense 11. Aaron Jones, 6.5 points, usually averages about 10. Tyler Lockett, 3.5 points. Now, Tyler Lockett is another one of those guys who has been boom or bust. In the 5 games where Tyler Lockett has had double-digit scoring, he has totaled 98 points, almost 20 points a contest in those 5. In the other 9 games, less than 6 points a clip, 34.5. George Kittle amassed 1 point. Where over the last 3 weeks, he had averaged 21+ points. There were reasons, or there were ways Andy could have definitely won this game. However, he did not. So he heads off to the 3rd place game to take on the loser of Sid versus Peter. I marched my way to the Fantasy Bowl. And speaking of the other game, on the winning side of the bracket, Make Cramerica Great Again, coming in at 9-5, taking on the Valhalla Vandals, who stopped the bleeding, stole the styptic powder from good old Matt. Who, by the way, again, Matt, thanks for stopping by with the beer. Woo! Very much so appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. However, it was a short-lived stoppage of the bleeding. The bleeding then continued this week. Peter finds himself losing again for the 7th time in the last 9 games, 6th time in the last 8. It was a horrific end to the season for Peter. However, he will be playing for money next week. 124 for Sid, 88.5 for Peter. If you're Sid, Justin Jackson. Who? Yeah, Justin Jackson. I'll say it. Who? I mean, we know who Justin Jackson is. We know he backs up Austin Eckler. He often doesn't see the field. However, this week he did, and 26 points later, he owned said field. Miami's defense, speaking of owning, good God, 25 points. Mark Andrews, 18 points, 20+ average in the last 3 weeks for him. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, the dude just scores points. Michael Pittman, 8 points. Now, I bring that up because earlier in the week, Sid dropped Pittman on December 22nd and picked up Amon-Ra St. Brown, the hot receiver from the Detroit Lions. And I know who wants anyone from Detroit on their fantasy team, albeit DeAndre Swift. I think his name is DeAndre. Whatever, Swift, the running back. He can play. So he drops Pittman, picks up St. Brown. On December 25th, on Christmas Day, he says, Devontae Freeman, here's your pink slip. And who does he bring back? Michael Pittman. That's right, Michael Pittman. Now, does he play Amon-Ra St. Brown? No. He got 16.5 points. Then he plays Pittman, who got 8. This, to me, just further speaks volumes to how Sid continually throws turds at the wall and hopes to see stuff stick. Point in case, in the Fantasy Bowl, Sid won't have his beloved Kirk Cousins. Why? Well, of course, Kirk Cousins got COVID. No surprise there. Sid had 3 other quarterbacks on his team. Does he play any one of those 3 quarterbacks? Nope. I'll just reach into the pile of turds and whip Davis Mills up against the wall, and I'll see if that sticks. Again, the authenticity of your Fantasy Bowl wins and just your record is in serious question as I watch you flail wildly about in the free agent swimming pool. It's absolutely absurd. All right, I digressed enough about that. If you're Peter, Patrick Mahomes got the start over Tom Brady. 22 for Patrick, 10 for Brady. Peter made the right choice still. Didn't matter. A.J. Brown, welcome back. 19.5 points, best score since week 8. Rashad Penny with 14 points. Tyreek Hill, 1, averages 12 plus. Gronk, half point, averages 8 plus. Those wouldn't have necessarily closed the gap for Peter. It would have made it a whole lot closer. Instead, he loses, and now he's out. All right, the 5th place game here before we get into the Diesem nominations. Liquid Schwartz at 8-7, taking on the Pack Attack at 8-7. This one, again, was all for pride. 104.5, and I believe the OK trophy, if that still is around somewhere. 104.5 for Adam, 85.5 for Eric. T. Higgins, best score of the year, 30 points for Swart. Josh Allen, 28. David Montgomery, 15.5. Jake Elliott, 11. Great week. Would have beat me, however, you weren't playing me, so too bad. So sad. If you're Eric, Russell, Stupid Face Wilson, in what will probably be his last game for the Pack Attack, 18 points. Tampa Bay, 16. Cooper Kupp ends his amazing season with 11 points, along with Antonio Brown's 11. Hunter Renfrow, 9.5 points. A waiver wire scrap heap pickup. Surprisingly, not one made by Sid, since, again, we know he led the league in pickups. Renfrow ended up in the top 20 receivers in our league. Had himself a nice little season. All right, before we cover the last couple games, let me get into maybe some of the reasons why the people in the last couple games ended up in that situation. Because they showed maybe a lack of fantasy football knowledge and or competence that would be required to successfully run a fantasy football franchise. That's right. They did something that was worthy of the Diesem. All right, we had a lot of humdingers this year, and really we've been at this long enough where some of these things continue to be repeat offenders, which really worries me as a species that we cannot learn from our mistakes. We just continue to make the same ones and reach into the free agent turd pool and just throw stuff at the wall, and good God. All right, I'm going to start with a couple honorable mentions, work my way backwards from 10 to 1. All right, first honorable mention I've got, Sid spent $5 before the week 1 even happened. And 2 of those players that he picked up, he dropped. So he spent $5 and sent 2 people. Again, I can't stress this enough. I get it. When you deal in high volume, occasionally you're going to find the diamond. But that doesn't mean you're good at fantasy football. Jesus H. You $5 for week 1 and 2 of them were dropped? Criminy. Also, during the season, honorable mention, Andy picked up and dropped Julio Jones, not once, not twice, but thrice. Talk about I can't quit you. Holy jeez. A couple others, Sid dropped Pittman for St. Brown. I covered that. And I don't know if this is going to count. However, John, this week in the 9th place Toilet Bowl game, played Devontae Smith. You're like, well, who the hell cares, Brett, if he played Devontae Smith? I'll tell you who cares. The Rookie Keeper Committee might have something to say about that. Now, earlier this year, John played Kyle Pitts. Not going to have him as his rookie keeper. He still had Devontae Smith. John played him in the Toilet Bowl. I know it doesn't count for anything, but it's a game that actually is recorded in the annals, not the annals, of our league. So I kind of feel that it probably counts for something. if you blew your rookie keeper in the final game, the toilet bowl, that would be maybe not even honorable mention. Maybe that should be somewhere higher on the list. As for the list, it begins here with number 10. Oh, back to my friend John. He scored 38 points this season. Now, as a quick aside, Peter did score 42 and 41.5 during his awful stretch, but not quite the 38 where John set the new modern era low. However, he didn't have to hold on for that too long. We'll get to that in a moment. Number 9, I've got 9A and 9B. 9A, by the way, both Peter. Peter dropped George Kittle, his second-round pick. I get it. He was on the IR. I know he wasn't helping your team, but guess whose team he almost carried to the Fantasy Bowl? Andy's, after he picked him up when you dropped him. Probably would have been nice to have Kittle down the stretch for as terrible as your team was. Also, 9B, Peter, before the season even started, somehow, someway you found how to place your kicker, nonetheless, on the non-existent IR. Yeah, that's a real sentence, and it really happened. All right, number 8, the only trade that made the list, and I know the moment I say this, I can already hear, and the screaming. I can feel the blood pressure rising because it's not going to be the Dalvin Cook trade because I'm in the Fantasy Bowl. That's right, Mark, sir. This one belongs to you and John. The Herbert, Connor, and Hopkins for Winston, Taylor, and Fuller trade, where John won scoring-wise every single one of the 12 weeks since that trade. 12-0 for John. Neither of them made the Fantasy Bowl, so in the end it really didn't matter. Number 7 is Andy and our good friend Peter again. Just a common theme as we run through this. Peter is all over the damn place when it comes to Diesem Nominations. It's their quarterback flip-flopping. 2 of the teams in our league that had 2 really good quarterbacks. And neither of them could decide week in and week out who they should play. And it cost both of them, and it probably cost both of them in a manner that had them missing a first-round bye. Now, whether or not that would have mattered in the end, I guess that's for the analytic team in Browerville to figure out. But it didn't help during the regular season. Number 6, John started this year 2-3. If you remember, all the way back after week 5, the entire North Division was 2-3. Basically 0-0. From that point, John marched his way to a 4-10 record. That's right. He went 2-7 the rest of the way. That's horrible. But not as horrible as Salty telling John, hey, I see your 38 points, and I'm going to have to ask you to sit down, son, because the adults are about to talk. 32.5 points for him. 4. Jesus. I had to break 4 up into 4 different parts. And let me tell you why. Because 4 different people did something that was already on actually 3 different people, because one of them was a goddamn repeat offender doing something they did that ended up on the Diesem Award in the first place. You can tell that I'm upset that this continues to be a thing. It just continues to just boggle my mind that we have people that continue to find a path to success by throwing crap at the wall. Way back when, Joey Harrington was picked up by one Adam Swart for 1 hour and then dropped, costing Adam Swart $1 and emblazoning his name on the Diesem Award. Now, 1 hour is a pretty amazingly short amount of time to be on a fantasy football team. Now, here are some of the players that spent a little bit more time than that. However, one individual said, Joey Harrington, I think I can do you one better. Let's go ahead and start with 4A. Swart picked up and dropped Mike Davis in less than 29 hours. Mike Davis might have been one of the least appreciated people in all of fantasy football this year. However, his point total maybe warrants that disappreciation. Andy picked up and dropped Cooper Rush in less than 24 hours. Swart picked up and dropped Bruce Bolton. That's right, Swart's second offense in less than 16 hours. However, the winner of this competition that I was completely unaware that was taking place is our dear old friend Peter again. Peter picked up and dropped Jordan Howard in less than 2, not hours, folks, not hours. I know that's where you thought we were going with this. No. In less than 2 minutes. For $1. Wow. All right, here we have made it to the top 3. Number 3, Salty's running back situation. Good Lord. We documented this all season long. His 28 starts by running back totaled 109 points. The next lowest was 225. It was absolutely abysmal and really added to the season-long woes that was Salty's scoring inefficiencies. Number 2, coming in one last time on the top 10 list, our dear old friend Peter. And again, I would say this, and I brought this up because Eric proposed this. If the Diesem is dead, as we know it, why not usher in a new era, a new award that points to an incident that made us all cringe, made us all go, ooh, the Vingy cringy, if you will. Peter at number 2 had a week where 7 running backs were on his roster, and none of them, 0 scored points. 7 running backs, 0 points. In fact, he left 2 of them in his lineup just so he didn't have to spend money. However, that couldn't have been the reason because he didn't seem averse to spending $1 on Jordan Howard for 2 minutes. But he left 2 of them in his lineup for $2 for take zeros because the other 5 guys were injured, were out, were buys. Doesn't matter. It was awful. It's Diesem worthy, but maybe not as Diesem worthy as number 1. Adam Saltmarsh, for the first time in the modern era, since we added not only a flex position, but in that very same draft meeting, a half point per reception, opening up the floodgates for what would be the point bonanza that is the FTFL today. You failed to score more than 1,000 points in a season. And reminder, not only was it in an era with a flex player and half point PPR, we played an extra damn game this year. You had 14 games to break 1,000 and you still didn't. If we're sending the Diesem off, set sail, off to die, I believe that is the name that belongs on the Diesem for the last time. Woo! All right, speaking of the Diesem Award nominees and all of their splendor, although Matt didn't make the list this year. Bravo, Matt. He was playing in the Consolation Championship against the Monkeys. He did win 103.5-60. Cowboys defense ran roughshod over the Washington football team, 28 points for them. Devontae, greatest receiver in all of football, Adams 23 points. Zeke 14.5. Terry McLaurin 3.5 points. Boomer bust has been a topic I've covered a lot on this show this season. We just got done talking about Tyler Lockett. McLaurin in 4 games scored 76.5 points. In the other 11 games, 38.5. He was either just feasting or starving. If you're salty this season, mercifully, I don't know, comes to an end. Finally, Stupid Face Jr., Kyler Murray, 14 points. Stephon Diggs, 13.5. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 8.5 points for him. And he got hurt again. Bart Scott, Boston Scott. Bart Scott is can't wait. Boston Scott, 8 points. Brandon Cooks was in your lineup. He was out. Kind of like the John situation. Because you submitted a lineup that wasn't complete in a game that didn't matter, are we still going to take you $5? I don't know. It gets recorded as an official game. So something tells me we kind of maybe should have to do that. Moving on to said Linkowitz, and the toilet bowl we already know is a tie, 102-102. If your marks are your Chubb, rose to the occasion, 19.5 points to finish strong. Waddle and Suckup 17, Jalen Hurts 14, Jonathan Taylor 6, a low game for him. If you're Joe Mixon 23 points. Edwards. What the hell can I not figure out? Edwards, 18 points. Chase Edmonds. 18 points for him. Justin Herbert, 14. Devontae, maybe I'm no longer a rookie keeper. Smith, 12.5 points. Again, John did win the trade again this week, 14-6, 12-0 to wrap up the season. All right, here we go. The stud, the dud, the Diesem. And then we're going to set the stage for what might be the greatest fantasy bowl of all time. Start of the week, 2 running backs. Justin Jackson, Damian Harris leading their teams to victories, 26 and 24 respectively. The dud of the week, George Kittle, half point. Tyreek Hill, 1 point. Diesem nomination. I made it an honorable mention. I'm not sure how we're going to handle it, but John starting his rookie keeper in the toilet bowl. That was truly something. As we look forward to next week, third place game will feature the Valhalla Vandals coming in 8-8, taking on the Mixin Cocktails at 9-7. And lastly but not leastly, the Fantasy Bowl, which pits Make America Great Again, coming in at 10-5, taking on the Hulkamaniacs. What? We've got live, right? He wants to speak now. All right, well, apparently we've got live footage from everyone's real great friend, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump.
Hey y'all, Donald Trump here, coming on to say how great Cray-America's season has been. We came on the FTFL Weekly Update last year, and we told you we were going to make Cray-America great again. And what happened? Cray-America is the #1 seed in the league. A big, bold, beautiful team. Scores all kinds of points. Juicy, wonderful points. They're all over the place. They can't be stopped. He doesn't have down weeks. The greatest team ever created. And come to find out, I'm playing the who? The Hulkamaniacs? I thought that was just a charity team. When's the last time they've been in a fantasy bowl? I don't even remember. I thought we were just letting this guy play to make him feel good about himself. I didn't know he was a real team anymore. Team's full of a bunch of losers. I don't even know what to say about the guy. Aaron Rodgers? Has Aaron Rodgers even won a fantasy bowl at one point? He falls apart in the playoffs when the pressure is on. Oh, man. Oh, Hulkamaniacs, I'm sorry. I don't mean to crush your spirits. Maybe you should go home before you get your butt kicked this week, because Cray-America is coming for you. Cray-America is going to take you down. You're going to have 4 championships and 8 appearances in the Fantasy Bowl. That's right. So, and he's even got your first round pick next year. So suck on that. Good luck in the loser bowl, because the only winner here is this guy. All right. Take care. Hope you don't go home crying. You know what's coming. Peace.
After watching that, it's pretty clear the difference between my opponent and I for this weekend's game. For him, just another game. Just another fantasy bowl. Just another successful end to another fantasy season. For me, not so much. For me, this is an opportunity. An opportunity at redemption, more so an opportunity at validation. Since 2003, my opponent has been in 7 fantasy bowls. This will be his 8th fantasy bowl. Several other franchises have been to multiple franchises. Me? 0. For 6,586 days, I've sat and wondered, am I no good at fantasy football? Did I just get lucky back in 2003? And I know some of you are like, whoa, Brett, time out. All you ever talk about is how fantasy football is all about luck. Yeah, you're right. I do talk about that quite a bit. And guess what? This just in, that's a giant load of crap. You know it, and I know it. But guess what? It's all I have to tell myself to explain away another loss. It's all I have to tell myself to explain away another 500 season or worse. It's all I have to encourage myself to face another season. Because I'll be flat out honest with you. After last year, I was ready to be done. After losing to Diesem in the playoffs for the next 2 weeks, I sat and I brooded and I was crabby and I was one of the meanest, pissed off son of a bitches you'd ever want to be around. Ask my wife, ask my kids, they'll tell you just the same. I wanted to be just like Ryan Diesem. Take my damn ball and go home. And what would that have changed? Would that have changed any of our friendships? Not a damn bit. Well, I still would have texted everyone. I still would have called everyone. We still would have hung out. I love that our league provides the platform to carry on that friendship, and it provides the opportunities for us to do things together. The league, however, provides something else for me. It provides me an opportunity to prove that I am the best at something. And for 6,586 days, I've pretty much been told I'm not. I've been the butt of way too many jokes in this league, including some of my own at my own expense. I've watched others go to multiple fantasy bowls while I have gone to 0. I've had way too many seasons finish where I end up with just an okay record. Well, I am not okay with being just okay. I want to be the best. Not just in fantasy football, but in everything and I do. And I understand that is an unrealistic expectation, but that's how I'm wired. That's how I'm driven. That's how I face each and every day. For 6,586 of them, I have chased that dragon to prove to myself and to each and every one of you that I am good at fantasy football. So when I say that this Sunday is more than just a game to me, you better damn well believe it. I don't just want to win this game. I need to win this game. And I'm going to win this game. Whoa! This is it! Woohoo! Oh, I can't wait! I'm so excited! This is it! I have waited for this moment. It's you!
Yeah, it's me.
Wait! It's you?
Yeah, it's
No.
me.
It can't be you. It can't be.
Dude, I just came by to say hi. I'm going to visit a buddy, watch the Gopher game, and bring you a gift.
Oh, hold up. So you're not my informant?
Dude, why would I be your informant and play in the same league with you? I would help myself.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, they're supposed to be coming by sometime soon, and so I'm sitting around and waiting, and then the doorbell rings, and here you are. It's not you. I mean, it's you, but it's not you.
I'm a little confused, but it's me. But I'm not.
So you're not it. All right, but
nope. Got a gift for you though, because you gave everyone else gifts. So
really? Oh my gosh! Oh, it's PBR. I will drink this while watching the games this weekend as I attempt to win my first fantasy bowl in 18 seasons.
Yeah, that's either victory beer or drowning your sorrows beer.
That's the beauty in the beer, my friend. Well, thank you so much. I can't. I'm sorry if I weirded you out with that or whatever, but I'm a bit on edge.
Yeah, I'm not going to come by unannounced again.
All right, well, take care, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, later.
That would have been weird if it was him.